What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a kind of cool video for you guys. It's not something that many of you would really think about, whether you're getting into fishing or you're just adding more reels to your arsenal and stuff. When you're at a tackle shop, bait store, whatever it might be, and you're looking at fishing reels, and there's obviously many different price ranges of reels. But today I'm going to kind of go over the differences between a cheap reel and expensive reel to kind of show you guys what the actual difference in the reel is based on the entire mechanics of the reel and how it benefits you as an angler. So the two that I've got picked out are going to be the Lew's Tournament SK. I've talked about this reel many times, including in my best value fishing reels. So this will be cool to open it up and see what the components actually are. I've never really paid too much attention to this reel. And then the other one that we've got is the Shimano Antares. This is the American version, the not DC version. Obviously there's many ways to go. You can get these reels that are digitally controlled. So basically that's a awesome option if you want to spend even more money. However, I didn't want to put that compared to this because it's not comparing two equal reels. There's kind of a difference in the mechanics, so we can't compare them as well together. But basically, here's the one reel that we've got, the Lew's. That is about $129 retail, and we're going to be comparing it to the Shimano Antares, as I said, which is about $600 new. Obviously, this one's got a couple extra parts that I put on it, so it's not really a $600 reel, but basically, those parts do not change the internals of it. I haven't done anything to that, changing gear ratios or anything. So it's basically stock all on the inside, and we're going to open these up and see what the actual difference is. There we go. We got that one opened up, the Antares. And one thing that I can notice right off the bat is there is so much shroud on this reel that you have to take off. It's ridiculous. It does make the looks look a lot better with no exposed screws on the outside. As you can see, this Lew's here, as well as most standard reels, have 1, 2, 3 screws that you have to pull off to get the side plate off, exposing the gears and everything. On this reel, let's see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reels just to get this one plate off, as well as 2 other pieces of shroud, and you have to take the spool out and everything. So it's kind of ridiculous how much they go through to bring the reel as good of looking as it can, and that also adds a bunch of weight to it. I know this is like made of aluminum or something. I don't really know all the fancy terms Shimano's using for the materials of it, but that is kind of ridiculous that you have so many different parts, although it looks pretty dang sweet. Okay, so the Shimano is basically apart enough that you can see all of the parts and how they function and stuff. Now I'm going to open up the Luz and see what that is like on the inside. Okay, so we got the Luz open. Now I'm going to quick move the camera angle so you guys can see it, and we will take a look at all of the parts on the inside and how they function. So basically on the inside of the reels, you can see that they're pretty much the same. On the bottom here we have the Shimano Antares. On top we have the Luz speed spool. Obviously, like the first thing I was saying before, is there's so many different screws here to take the simple side plate off of the reel compared to the 3, or actually I did find a 4th one on the Luz. So that is kind of ridiculous. You got so much shroud here to cover the reel, make it look good and not have any screws exposed. But that does kind of make it more of a pain in the butt to get the pieces off. But when we look at the actual mechanics of the reels themselves, there are some differences. So as you can see, the drag here for the Shimano Antares compared to the drag for the Luz, it looks like the material is going to be a little bit different. Not sure the exact materials that they're using, but the thing that you can notice here is the Shimano has a lot more space on the drag, so it's going to have a lot stronger drag system, just a lot more surface area to catch on. And that's got it on both of the drag washers. You can see this one's tiny on the Luz compared to the thicker one on the Shimano. Then the next piece that you can really tell a difference with is going to be the gearing system. So I don't know if you guys can see it too well in the shadow there, but with the Luz here, you've got a standard big tooth gear. It's got a lot more metal, so it's going to be a heavier bait or a heavier gear. Not sure if that makes it a little bit stronger or not, but the other thing is the Shimano one has the micro module gearing. So if you can see here, you can barely tell that there's even teeth on this gear. It's so smooth and everything, and that's what actually gives you such a smooth feeling when you're reeling this reel. As you've seen in other videos I've posted, like when I was crankbait fishing with this reel in that dirty water, I was saying how you can barely feel a crankbait on this, whereas any other reel such as this, you can feel when you're digging in with a crankbait, deep diving especially, you can feel when you have a crankbait pulling, whereas with this micro module gearing, it makes it super smooth and you can barely even tell that there's a bait in there, so it doesn't wear you out after a long time of fishing. Then also, like I was saying, you got this extra shroud pieces, which is really unnecessary, just added weight, but it does look sweet. And the other thing here, we've got the pinion gear. As you can see, we've got the micro module gearing in the Shimano as well, just like the other gear piece. And then the other thing that I was noticing is the Shimano one, as you can see, is a lot taller than the Luz. And what this means for you guys is when this spool goes in there, it's held a lot better in there and it's a lot smoother, more stable and stuff. That also goes with how the Shimano has an extra bearing in here, whereas the Luz here has the bearing on the spool. And when you hold the two together, this is actually the Shimano spool. I don't know why it was up there. This Shimano spool is actually a lot lighter, which is a bigger spool, so you wouldn't think that. But I don't know if it's the material in there, but also the bearing not being on there reduces the weight. So it's going to give you a lot longer casting distance, so you can cover a lot more water. And then it's also going to be a lot less wobble in there when you're casting. And then also on there you got the brakes. The Luz has 4, whereas the Shimano has 6, so you're going to get a lot more braking different braking settings that you can do to really fine tune it to the bait that you're using. So overall, the Shimano does have a lot of cooler parts. You've got an extra bearing in here, so it's a lot designed better, a little bit smoother for you to kind of make it more comfortable for you guys fishing a long day. Obviously, it's not necessary, but it does make it a little bit smoother and easier for you fishing. So I know that was probably kind of confusing if you don't know too much about baitcasters and how they work, but I just really wanted to show you guys that whether you're going to get your first reel or just a reel in general, sometimes spending extra money does get you better quality, just like anything else in life, whether it's a vehicle, cameras, whatever it might be. Spending more sometimes gets a better item for you guys, and if you're going to be out on the water more, maybe it is something worth looking into, getting something that's going to last you longer and kind of be more comfortable while you're fishing. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing and you guys kind of got to see kind of a different look about how the reels operate and what some of the differences are between cheap and expensive reels. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, leave a like below. Also comment if you have any questions, and also let me know what your guys' favorite reel is that you guys have. And then hit subscribe below. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Till then, keep fishing, have fun, see you later.